All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. I don't know if you felt it, but it was a 1% move on the NASDAQ, and despite all of the crazy news we got in the morning, we were able to start off the market in weak green, and now tomorrow and tonight, we got a lot of data that could shape things. So we have a ton of things to talk about. I have a breakdown of all of the crazy events that happen. Even the title might be a little bit surprising to you. Even my outfit, I look like a disciple. We'll talk about this, but we have stuff to look forward to. We made a couple of plays, and now leading into some of these earnings, and I don't know, did you see the chip makers today? You got some things brewing as we enter the middle of August. So like I said, I wasn't expecting too much this week. You have a lineup that may be able to deliver, so we're already starting off kind of with a bang. I say that tentatively. I think the Russell was still red, and it was kind of like 50-50. It's just you had some big outperformers, but these earnings, this sentiment, and now leading into Powell, this can all be very important. So Chad, what I need from you, a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/thestackmarket. We will see you there in the morning. So first is first. I mean, why I look like a disciple is today is a very low volume day. It's like one of the lowest volume days. So I thought I wear a robe, but then like it looked like I was a disciple. So don't worry. See, look at, we professional now, just like that. Just like that. But as far as what happened today, there was two very crazy things. And the first one was China. And believe it or not, it's not as if the China stocks did too bad. They dropped like 2%. But considering the nature of the news, you would have thought it could have been worse. But this is why they call it a gray swan, because it's an unexpected issue, but you've heard about it. And what happened today in China, there was a company called Country Garden. It's another one of these real estate lender companies, kind of like Evergrande. Well, they missed, or they were talking about renegotiating one of those bond payments, and they had a problem. But then there was another private wealth company in China. I can't even say the name. I'm not even going to try to butcher it, but they're pretty big. They handle high net worth individuals. They had problems covering payments that they owed. So this was kind of like another Evergrande shock like we experienced about 2 years ago in China, but this kind of shook things in the morning. Things were a little bit more worse overseas and during the overnight session, but by the time we got to the morning, we were reacting to some other things. It was still bad, but here's the kicker. Anytime things get bad in China, everyone's like, well, what about the stimulus that's going to happen? So that's what people kind of got excited for. That's why it wasn't so bad just yet, but we were talking about it today. If you haven't looked at China's bond rates or anything going on with there, they've kind of already been stimulating, and that's why people thought there was going to be that recovery at the beginning of the year. So very interesting. That was the first thing. And now the second thing, this, my friends, is the Trump of Argentina. And why I'm bringing this up to you, one, it was a low volume day. Things were very slow. We got our earnings, and things are pretty like clean cut, and we're going to see how it develops. But this is now following along with the trend. I mean, if you've been watching the watch list, that's why I love you, especially if you like the video, but like you watch along, at least so you like, you know what I'm saying here. It's like every single week for the last 3 weeks overseas, we've woken up to some sort of like crazy event that has happened on the bonds and currencies as a result of politics or a central bank. Everything from the Germany and their interest rates, the ECB, remember, was it Italy recently? Then they backtrack. Well, now Argentina, they devalued their currency today, and why is because the currency started like borderline imploding even further, and it was because this guy won the election, and they compare him to Donald Trump. They say he's a Donald Trump admirer. This guy has like literally outlined how he's gonna like get rid of all of these things in government. He even says to abolish central banks and destroy them. So he's a pretty like, you know, outlandish guy. He's getting into politics. he got elected, the currency starts to implode, and then as a result, the central bank, they raise rates while at the same time devaluing the currency to hopefully prevent things from going too crazy and then also upsetting their reserves and all of that. So like I'm saying here, just to document it, another one of these events that we're waking up to. We saw a lot of movement here with the dollar and the yen. Did it have a big impact? Probably not, because we don't trade on the biggest scale with Argentina. Again, there's other and bigger things going on right now as well too, but it's just something to keep in mind. But that's what we had here in the morning. Besides that, there was no other data. The only other thing was the chip makers. It was a lot of things that kind of compounded, but pretty much Nvidia was at like $400 and then it closed today at like 442. There's even news of like Saudis buying AI chips after hours, but what sent them up here? People were talking about pre-earnings. I think it's a little too early for that. They're still going to be next week, but then Morgan Stanley, I think, gave them an overweight rating, saying $500 price target, and pretty much is guided up ahead of their earnings, saying that they're going to most likely guide up. And a lot of things after last week with chips selling off, people were feeling it. Then all of the options and everything else in between started to go crazy, and then it started to just carry. And then, like I said, all of the chip makers went absolutely insane. So this is what we woke up to the morning. There was also some other things, I think, like United Steel. They had an offer, or supposedly CLF sent them an offer, and then even middle of the day, this pop was somebody else saying, hey, we'll give you even more money, and they sent them another offer for that. But pretty much people are trying to buy United Steel, either one of their competitors or other people in the industry. It brought the stock up 40%. It was another crazy mover. I think even PayPal, a lot of like one-liner company names. The CEO, they finally replaced him. They got like a former guy from Oracle, I think. I may be wrong on that company. I'll have to double check. But like I was saying, there's just a lot of one-liner company events that brought PayPal up. But for the most part, I think it was the China news, and then now people getting ready for tomorrow. So this was the other big thing. The final thing I'm going to talk about, tomorrow morning, we get Home Depot earnings. There's also going to be like a couple of other smaller like retail names. I think like ON, that's the shoe company. What else are we going to have tomorrow? SC will be related to tech, PaySafe, maybe consumer related, but if anything, after hours, maybe H&R Block. That'll be your thing. And then Target on the next morning there on Wednesday. But now what we want to get an idea for is, how are these earnings going to come out? What does it say about the consumer? And now not only just earnings, as far as even the calendar, that's the only thing that we're going to have here on the schedule for America. It'll be retail sales. So that's going to be a big one. And the final thing, I told you it was the final thing. I messed up, but it's already right here. China tonight, probably like an hour or 2 hours after the watch list, what you need to be watching for: the China data here, industrial production, China retail sales, China unemployment and investment, even a little bit about their one-year rates. We're going to hear about that. That can all have a big impact, especially after the news that we got here. And then also Japan, they're going to get their Q2 GDP here tonight. And even with how the yen has been moving in the 10-year, that could even be the excuse for the yen to like really go crazy over 145, because we've been talking about the yen. Although I have been bullish on it, the one thing you got to see now, it has been weakening, and this is now one of those key scary points. So pretty much should either come back down here, or if not, it's going to test the 150 from here, and then things get crazy, and then we see where it leads. But this is all going to lead into tonight, and that's why I'm saying watch out. That data could be the excuse to move, or at the very least, we're going to get a good picture about both United States, China retail tomorrow, and that could be the big driver of things, especially as everybody's buying up the chip 6%. But Chad, I hope you're ready for all of it, but we got a little bit more, so let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got a couple of different plays, and we even made a few different plays today. So the first one, I sold out of up today. So if you remember that, we brought that up. I sold out at like 120 or like 119. I made $60. I could have made about $300 off of the position, but ended up moving that to Tasha. I called it Trisha today. I grabbed in at like 150 on like 1,000 shares, sold out in the high like 190s or low 190s. Went up another like 50 cents afterwards, so we could have made more, but flipped out of this. I even flipped out of the old lift, if you remember that. Took profits on all of these, and it's just reminding me there's been some biotech plays. I even have one, so this will even be the first play, RVNC. This is Revance Biotherapeutics, and pretty much it's like a Botox competitor. Now, I've heard they've had bad reviews. I've even heard it. Troy told me that and some other people, but it's like a smaller Abivi competitor, not really like a major competitor, but they just got an approval today. It was up a lot here, then it kind of sold off, so either be careful. It's going to either sell off massively after an approval, or it will be able to run up. I have 200 shares. I think I'm in at like 1911, but the main idea, I like the PDUFA and the approval. That's why I'm saying even with the TSHA, that was a phase 2, phase 3 study there that came out. That was a biotech. I like some of these plays here. I like the fact that they got the approval, and now just with Revance, it's cosmetics. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm reaching here with all the Ozempic stuff, but literally from like just normal Botox all the way down to Ozempic, even makeup, cosmetics have done very, very well recently, so I felt a little bit more comfortable playing with that. So looking to ride that one out there. It's definitely going to be a flip. We'll see how that plays out, but that is play number 1. Then play number 2 now. This one was interesting because it's related to what's happening. I'm sure you have heard about those Hawaii fires, but now even crazier, by the time we had this news in the morning, like, dude, you had a lot of time to react, and this thing started dropping heavily, and I was surprised that a lot of people don't know what other names you could compare this to. So what I'm talking about is HE. This is Hawaiian Electric Industries. There was news in the morning, and like I'm saying, the stock didn't react till much later, but the news was that they are getting investigated in relation to the Maui fires. They may be liable for some of the damages or the cause, and this has a lot of big consequences, and that's why you had this reaction. There's also a follow-up play we'll go over, but like I said, I'm surprised a lot of people did not know what happened to PCG in like 2018, 2019. So if you don't know, PCG, this is an electric company in California. They were responsible for fires. Again, very similar, electric wires, boxes, maintenance, negligence, all that good stuff. But this is how the chart looked, and you can see how it play out. They had their first couple of drops, then it got bad, but it was like a couple years at a time, and then once they got the settlement, they popped, and then they dropped, and then it's been like this for a couple of years. So it's not going to be an easy trade, but this was big news today. It's related to something going on. A lot of people are asking me, would I trade it? No. Like I'm saying, I'd look for PCG, and maybe if it bounces up and you could get in without the 40% drop and reset, maybe, but other than that, what I would be watching is GNRC. I think that they got an outsized reaction today because of everything going on. Damages, it will be short-lived, but if anything, I think this is your better short-term play related to any of that stuff. So watch out for that. That is play number 2. And then finally, just a good old pre-earnings play. I had to go with Target, and why I'm really excited about this, but it sucks because by the time you're watching this video, you cannot do this because ex-dividend is tomorrow. So I made my play. If you don't know what I do on pre-earnings, usually I go long or go short depending on how the stock has ran into it. So Target, they report here on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow's going to be Tuesday. They've only been going down. I said, hey, let's go for the long side. I grabbed 200 shares at 129.12, and the idea is sell them out around the end of close tomorrow before their earnings, and then walk away with the pre-earnings. Now, here's where it ended up benefiting me. Their ex-dividend is tomorrow. I bought in today. Pretty much by the time I sell, I'm also going to get their dividend of $1 a share on my 200 shares. I'm going to get an additional $200 for the dividend. Now, I could still lose if I sell with the profit. That's what I'm really going to need, so we'll see where it's at by open tomorrow, but this is a play I'm keeping in mind. There might be some time tomorrow depending on how it moves, but like I'm saying, retail sales, Home Depot in the morning, that should set the tone. If that's good or bad, you'll pretty much know if this is going to be a win or loss, or how it's going to play out into the pre-earnings run up for Target. And then after all that, you will still get the Walmart earnings follow-up, so don't forget about that one either. But Chad, that is pretty much everything. I don't think I have any other plays. Like I said, we made a couple of other flips, still in like an MPW flip, as well as the Rite Aid. Not much change there. I think they both went down, but still holding, waiting to strike here a little bit. And now we also have the rest of these events that I'm not expecting much for, but maybe we get surprised. But then it's Powell next week, and then we finalize the earnings. And before you know it, it's the end of August in Chatadonia. We may even find out about the AI bubble soon. Oh yeah, you forgot about that, but Chad, that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate healthy, ready to go. Make sure to post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember you got to balance growth and value. It's values, and I ain't talking about a stock rotation. Do you hear me? That's it, man. While you are growing and the things you value, those things are going to change throughout life. I hope you have fixed values in life, and I hope you are always growing, but I hope you find the balance. And just like in the stock market, without a balance, oh, man. Oh, without the balance, I'm doing the chimpanzee again. No, I do this for the thumbnail sometimes. That's it. It's fine, man. I could have been looking like a disciple now, but Chad, that's it. You get it. Drink that water. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy, and I will see you and be blessed because, Chad, you will need the endurance. You will need the endurance. I need caffeine today, bro. I'm all over the place, but you need the endurance, and I love you, and you are ready, and now I'm calm, and that's it. Welcome to Non-Caffeine Watch List with Josh. This is good. It's not even that awkward. Is this awkward? I think it's really awkward. It lacked a little bit more of the same flow, but we still got to the destination. Is it about the destination or is it about the journey? And that's what we got to really ask ourselves. Is democracy a destination or is it a journey? So see, a lot of these things could be applied. Now that maybe I'll just pivot into a different video here at the end. Okay. Horn.